Welcome to Metaphysical Soul Speak. I'm your host, Elena Fox Starks. Hey guys, I hope you're doing really well in this moment in time. Now, whenever and wherever you happen to be on this crazy ass planet, now you are paying attention to keeping your PEPS-I levels in balance. Oh my God, some of you are saying right now, Pepsi, I don't drink Pepsi. Elena, don't you know soda is so bad for you? Okay, bear with me for quite a quantum second, because I just made this up and I'm so excited about this. I want to share it with you. This is taken from what has been labeled as PEMS, which just makes no sense whatsoever. And Pepsi just sounds so just cheerleaderific. I always like to mix words with the word terrific. I just like the cheesiness of it. But Pepsi, keep your Pepsi levels in balance. What does Pepsi stand for? Because, of course, not actually a soda, all right? So, Pepsi, I want you to make sure that as you're spinning the plates, that is your life, that you're keeping your Pepsi in balance. This is your physical body, P, your emotional body, E, your psychological body, P again. Which is ironically what you do if you have too much Pepsi, but I digress. And S, your spiritual body. And I, what does S stand for? You covered all the bases. I mean, of the individual, right? I, individual. So I'm hoping that you're able to keep up your Pepsi balance. You're making sure that you're balanced in all areas of your life. Your physical life, your emotional life, your psychological life, and your spiritual life. Now, I know that it's hard. It is hard to be in balance. So many times we are out of whack in one area or another. If we get really physical and we get super into physical fitness, we get so deep into the bodybuilding, the bike riding, the karate, the swimming. Well, at least those are things I did. Fencing, too. I did fencing. All those things, oh my God. When I was younger, I loved being absolutely physical to the max. Because when I was a kid, I was not physical. My parents told me I have to stay inside. I have to protect my asthma. I have to protect my body because of the asthma. I could die. And when I was a senior in high school, I ran track. I was really terrible at it. Like really slow. Like I think a turtle would have outpaced me some days. But I wasn't competing against anybody else. I was never going to be an Olympian. I was never going to win any medals. I think if I'd been in the Special Olympics, I still would have come in last. I was that slow. But I was competing against me. I was challenging myself to push myself more and more and more. So for me taking a second or 2 seconds off my slow ass time, I did good for me. Now, when you look at other people's times, no. But my race was the 100-yard dash. I did the 100-yard dash. That was it. I think they might have called it the 100-meter dash, so I don't know if it's meters or yards. Hell, I don't even know. All I know is just that moment, just waiting I can't wait till that gun goes off. I'm going to freaking run like a bat out of hell. And what it really looked like, the reality was I ran like a drunk bat walking out of hell, stumbling around the track. But I did my best. I did my best. I embarrassed myself all over several counties in Minnesota that year, and one county in North Dakota. You can't say all redheads are fast chicks. All right, but I digress. Okay, so Pepsi, keep your Pepsi balance, baby. So, again, nothing to do with the soda. I don't really advocate. I did have Pepsi last week, though, so it's kind of funny. Maybe they influenced me, but I'm not really promoting them. Here in Ecuador, when you order a soda with pizza or when it comes as a gift, because they do that all the time, they give ofertas, which is like an offer, and it's like an incentive to get you to buy something. And my son and I have been talking for weeks. Had been threatening to buy pizza, so we decided, hey, we should get a pizza. It's kind of cool. All right, let's do it. And we ordered a pizza, and the oferta was a Pepsi. And when you get anything automatic from anything here, it's always the diet. Or it is not the diet, but there's hardly any sugar in it. It's formulated here in Ecuador. It's still PepsiCo Bottling Company or Coca-Cola, depending on what you order. But it's they just take a lot of the sugar out of it, which I think is kind of strange, but also it's actually healthier. It's still kind of weird. It's got an aspartame or something in it. It's not healthy at all, but it's healthier than drinking a buttload of sugar with your pizza, which, the pizza itself converts into sugar in your body, and it's just bleh. But my son tells me I'm bulking up this week. I'm like, okay, fine. By bulking up, I think he means eating enough and then eating a little bit more. Because he's used to eating like me, and I eat hardly ever. I like one meal and one snack a day. That's pretty much all I eat. And then I have my coffee in the morning, usually in the afternoon, actually. But I've been trying to make it a point, to give my son a lot of food this week. I don't know why. I just felt like it was necessary for him. So he's like thrilled. I ordered stuff for tomorrow. I'm getting cookies, oatmeal cookies delivered tomorrow. He's so excited. Oh my God. From our favorite coffee place. But anyway, but I digress. I've been really thinking about the past 3.5 years, 3 to 4 years actually, when I first became aware. When I first became aware of it. So it's been, oh my gosh, so 3 years ago would be 2017. So it was really around December 2016, right before the new year hit. Right after Christmas is when, in fact, my boyfriend, he dumped me the day before Christmas, or maybe it was 2 days before Christmas. He totally broke up with me, and I'm like, this is because this mofo did not buy me a present, and he's looking for any and every excuse. Really, it's what I feel. I think it wasn't the day before. It's maybe a week before. But it really kind of felt like it was his excuse to just be like, well, we're broken up. I don't need to buy you anything. And I knew he was suffering with not having a lot of money at that time. They cut his hours back, So I was like, I don't care. I just wanted, part of the day with him or the day before with him. I wasn't never going to demand. He's got a son and a dad. I wasn't, an in Lima. I'm like, no, I'm not going to try to take that away from him or take his traditions or force him into a situation where he feels I'm being overly religious by celebrating the holiday, So he was acting angry at me so that he could just delete me from his life, i.e. not buy me a present. But I started looking at his behavior, really, really looking at his behavior. And this is how this whole thing started for me. I've always been on an ascension path, since 1987, since I was 18 years old. And I was first made aware because my friend read a Ruth Montgomery book, which I read more or less. I read almost all of it. I don't know if I even finished the book. But he read the whole book and told me everything that was in it anyway. And he said, but it's so good, I'm not telling you all the parts. Well, yeah, he did. He had told me everything. But he was so enthusiastic, and I was like, oh, all right, fine. So he had told my boyfriend and I at the time about everything that was in the book. And one of the things she said is that we're going to have a future. It might not be in my lifetime, but if you're reading this and you're a younger person, it'll definitely be in your lifetime, in which we are going to ascend as humanity. And I was like, whoa, trippy. I want some of what she's smoking. Okay, I didn't really say that. But she said, hey, basically, we're going to have to be very, very honest and heal every part of ourselves, every aspect of ourselves. Because we're going to start telepathing with one another. And when we're able to suddenly read everybody's minds at any given time, everyone's going to know what you're thinking. Of course, that scared the crap out of me. Oh my God, I was such a judgmental person inwardly. Excuse me. And outwardly, I was as sweet as pie, so I was not congruent with who I was inwardly and outwardly, like most 18-year-olds, at least from my generation. I think the new generations are much more aware. They're much more, not only self-aware, but emotionally intelligent and aware of all kinds of stuff that we weren't aware of. Things like respect, boundaries, they have so much more awareness than I ever did growing up. That's for damn sure. My kids are a lot better people than I am. Not saying they're perfect. No one on this planet's perfect. They could be a-holes just like me, just like anybody. Any one of us can be a-holes. Just give us the wrong day, Pile on the stress with any one of us on the wrong day and we all become a-holes, right? So anyway, I've been thinking about all this, the grand scheme of it. Since I was 18 years old, I've known that we were all going to ascend as humans and we were going to start to have all of these magical gifts and abilities and powers, such as being super, super psychic, becoming telepathic, being able to read people's minds, being able to levitate. I became aware that year that we were all going to start levitating one day, because I met a friend who was already levitating. She couldn't do it consciously, but she was waking up in the middle of the night cold, but warm on top and cold on the bottom of her body, which was really, really odd and made no sense. And one day she woke up and she was floating about 4 feet above her bed. And she was like, what? And she said, I don't know what it is, but it has something to do with the magnetism of the sun. And when you magnetize your body to be in alignment with the sun or something like that. It was her theory. She's like, but honestly, I had no freaking clue. She said, all I know is that when I changed my last name to Francis, after St. Francis of Assisi, who also levitated, by the way. I think what when did he live? I did a whole show on him last year, like in the 1400s or something. But he would meditate and he would levitate. He would meditate in the sun. And he started levitating. He'd have birds on his shoulders, like relaxed with him. He'd have little baby fawns come up, sit in his lap or sit next to him. Little deer from the forest would come and meditate with him. When he was known for being a patron saint of animals after that. But I really got something caught in my throat. Anyway, yeah, so I was thinking about all this stuff, you know, like, and I thought, well, maybe we'll have the ability someday to become invisible. Like, wouldn't it be cool if you could just at will become invisible? And I told you guys a week or two ago about my story when I was invisible one day. And that was another random thing that happened. I think that we all have these abilities, but we haven't honed them yet, so they happen to us once in a great while. I've popped things into existence when I needed them. They came out of nowhere. Maple syrup, I opened my cupboard, wasn't there. I shut the cupboard, immediately willed it to be there. Opened it, and the cupboard again, and there's maple syrup. Fresh from Canada. And I had house guests over. They had spent the night, and I was making pancakes for when they woke up. And they woke up, and we had maple syrup, and they're like, oh, this is such good syrup, la, la, la. And I think that a couple days later, it disappeared out of the cupboard. It was like leprechaun money in Harry Potter. You know, you get to enjoy it for about an hour, then it disappears in your hand. Because it's magic money, you know, magic stuff. You know, but I think that we all have these abilities, and they're all going to start coming more and more to the forefront. But back in 1987, I knew we were going to ascend. But then I kind of thought, well, who's Ruth Montgomery anyway? She might be crazy. I don't know. How'd she get the book published? I don't know. Maybe she knows somebody, you know? I mean, maybe she's not really... You know, so I kind of doubted her, and I never should have, because she really was the real deal. But, you know, when you're 18, you're like, well, what does she know? You know. So, I was thinking, you know, we're going to have all these abilities, it's going to be fun, it's going to be amazing. But maybe it's not going to happen at all, you know. And then the Jehovah Witnesses came around, and I was in my early 20s, and showed me all those pictures of, oh, don't you want to live in a world like this? I'm like, yeah, I kind of live in Santa Barbara. I mean, have you looked outside? You're standing there now. This place is freaking beautiful. They're like, but don't you want to live in a paradise where everybody gets along? I'm like, I pretty much get along with everybody already. And I mean, 2 blocks from here is Oak Park. If you guys have ever been to Santa Barbara, Oak Park is so beautiful. It's where they have the German festival every year. Maybe not this year, sadly. It's not where they have Fiesta. Fiesta is the Mexican heritage celebration. Lasts a whole week in August downtown. The whole downtown. Everyone in the town is drunk the whole week. It's amazing. It's one year during Fiesta, that's when I met Woody Harrelson. Actually, he kissed me on the lips. It was amazing. But I'm not going to go into that detail. But I loved living there, honestly. It was a beautiful place to be. Met a lot of cool people. But a lot of actors too, actually. A lot of cool people. People that are famous that you would never know were famous if you saw them, because they were like voiceover people or people like behind the scenes. But anyway. Oh, excuse me. I had chicken wings earlier, and there was like a little bit of extra oil on them. And so now it's like kind of caught in my throat. That oil is, it's like weird. No, God's not punishing me for not being a vegan. You know, in case you were thinking that, I'm just kidding. So anyway, so I knew this whole time that we were going to go through this. So I've been kind of like I better keep it to the straight and narrow, at least spiritually speaking. I've got to kind of, not religiously at all. I don't give a crap about, being religious, but being spiritual and always trying to follow that good path, trying to be on the good side of karma, always, trying to accumulate or accrue the good karma. So I've been, for the most part of my life, probably more spiritual than anything. So for a while I was keeping the physical stuff in check and the spiritual stuff was good. My mental health wasn't terribly good because that was out of whack, so the psychological stuff was just kind of crazy. So I started seeing a therapist and I tried to even out some stuff from childhood, which I highly recommend if you have not done this for yourself. Unless you had a perfect 1950s upbringing where your father did not cheat on your mother and did not come home drunk every night. I mean, that's just my view of the 50s. I don't know. I wasn't there. But, when you look at Mad Men and you see his history, you'd kind of go, well, maybe everyone was an alcoholic back then. Hell, I don't know. They had awesome hair and really neat and tidy clothes and really awesome cars, but they were just shitty people. It is what it seems like to me. Everybody's like, oh, it's so nostalgic for the 50s. I went down to the fountain and talked to the soda jerk and had my, ice cream with my friends, blah, blah, blah. But then when you get diving into it, they start delving into, well, this uncle touched me inappropriately and that teacher hit me or punched me. I heard a lot of crazy stories growing up. When people got to talking, when they weren't around their peers, I got adults to talk, tell me, what was the 50s like? Oh, you didn't want to be there, Got a lot of those. It was cool, but I don't want to go back. Never want to relive that again. We asked people 10 years later, people who are came up about later, if they lived through the drug culture in the 60s, they were like, oh, the 60s was amazing. Not that I remember any of it, but it was amazing, So you get a little bit of a different story. People came up in the 70s, when that was their era. It's like, oh, Frampton comes alive, disco and roller skates and all that good stuff. It's like, the 70s, the endless summer. It was the energy of the 70s. At least mine. That's how I grew up, was in the 70s and the 80s. But, so I don't know, I kind of believed it, I kind of did. But then in about 3.5 years ago, when my boyfriend broke up with me right before Christmas, and the way he was treating me was really weird, I just started looking it up. Maybe there's something wrong with him and I shouldn't be mad at him. I could forgive him if I felt like there's something he can't help. So I started looking up all these symptoms. What is it like when a person disrespects you and doesn't believe a word you say? And, pretty much all the traits of a narcissist. And I'm like, holy shit. Holy moly, he's a narcissist. Oh, well, damn. That makes so much sense now. And also he fits the bill for autism. So I'm like, I don't know if there's a narcissism-autism connection or if it's just that my mind wants to make excuses for him and feel sorry for him rather than being angry at him. In either way, I feel bad for him, but not enough to go back ever. I might be a masochist in some ways, but not in that way. I don't need a relationship that's crappy. I need a good one, right? Or just have a good one with myself. Have my best relationship right now is with God, honestly. But really and truly, it was a narcissism that got me. And then I thought, well, maybe I'm sick. Maybe there's something wrong with me physically. I mean, maybe it's not just a narcissism. And he was talking to me about, well, look at you. You're always in pain. You're always tired. You don't take care of yourself. I don't want to be your boyfriend anyway. You're just not doing right by yourself, You're not doing good for yourself. And And on the contrary, I was like juicing juices every day. I was eating really healthy. I was doing all kinds of stuff. I mean, I was I was meditating, and I was eating right, and I was walking every day, so I was getting my exercise, and I finished the screenplay that I've been working on, and it was brilliant. I still have it. It's amazing. Still haven't sold it, tried to sell it, but it was pretty good. I mean, I think it was good anyway. My kids loved it. I read it to them, and they're like, oh my God, we watch movies all the time. They're like, oh, I could see it. I already see it as a movie. And for a minute, there's an Australian director interested in it, but not enough to like actually contact me about it. But yeah, for a hot minute, I had a little bit of interest, but it's like, so I was doing everything. My PEPS-I was fine. I was like, all right, physically I'm walking every day, and emotionally I'm really checking in with me. I'm doing what I need to do. How do I feel about this? Why do I feel about this? What in my childhood or in my past makes me feel this way about this when maybe that's not healthy? What's emotionally healthy? So I'd look that up. Psychologically, I had a lot of damage. I was trying to reverse and fix it. Spiritually, I was on point. And all these things comprise my individual. So I was like going through all of this, I knew I was working on myself to the nth degree, trying to be the best me I can be at that moment. And so when he comes at me gaslighting, I was like, what's wrong with this guy? He doesn't see me working on myself. He's like, you never exercise. What's wrong with you? I'm like, you come home at 2 or 3 in the morning, because he was a DJ. He was a sound engineer. So that was his job. He worked in a bar. Oh, this is like really driving me crazy. I'm going to pause this for a second. So anyway, my boyfriend was telling me all these things. You don't do this, you're not like this, blah, blah, blah. He was wrong on all of the points. Because he just didn't see me. He came home late at night. And of course, I'm not going to be walking when he arrives at 2 in the morning. First of all, he'd be upset with me because I'm out and it's cold and I have asthma, and that would drive him crazy, because he was very, very protective of me, which was, for narcissists, was actually a really good trait. That's why sometimes I think he might have been autistic instead, but I don't know. But because he had a lot of things that could have been autism. I don't know. It was just very confusing. But so I started, but in the interest of self-improvement, I decided that I needed to look into some of the things that Renato was telling me. I mean, sure, he was being an a-hole, but he was always the kind of person that would just say what he sees, say what he feels, and who gives a crap about other people's feelings, right? So he was extremely honest, and I thought, well, even though he's a jerk, and we're no longer together, and I've discovered he's a narcissist, maybe some of these things are valid points, and maybe my health is bad, right? So I started looking it up. All right, so constant tinnitus, sharp shooting, stabbing pains in the eyes, lower back pain, upper back pain, migraines once in a while, headaches once in a while. Crap, I might be dying, Digestive issues. What the hell? I might be having something serious. Let's go to WebMD, And I looked it up, and there was inconclusive. It was like, you have one of the following 30 things, And it's like, well, that's not going to work. Screw this website. So I wrote in the Google search, symptoms And then I put like symptoms: headache, tinnitus, back pain, stomach ache, mood swings. And it did occur to me that maybe, and I'm still having my monthly cycle, so I thought maybe it's premenopause, maybe not, I don't know. But then all of a sudden, all these YouTube videos came up saying ascension symptoms, and I went, what? And first I went to a couple websites that said ascension symptoms, and I'm like, oh my God, it's happening. Oh my God, I knew in the 1980s that this was going to happen, but stopped believing it in the 90s, somewhere around the 2000s, fully kind of didn't believe it anymore. Oh goodness, hold on, someone is trying to call me. That's really weird. I don't know who that is. It might be my child. Someone in the Bay Area is trying to call me. And I'd never get phone calls, so this is very odd. I might have to go. Cut this short or something, but yeah, hopefully not. We'll see. But okay. So I like 3.5 years ago, I put it all together. This is actually freaking happening. It's happening. I felt like that movie moment in all the supernatural movies and TV shows where they go, the time has come, the prophecy is here, it's happening. And I felt crazy. I was like, this is not even, what the hell? These people are loonier than I am. These people are so crazy. Listen to what they're saying. But the more videos I watched and the more websites I read and the more channelings I started to listen to, the more my kids knew for a fact I was losing my freaking mind. They're like, we know you're taking it hard that Reynaldo broke up with you, but you're in a cult. This is crazy. This is crazy town. You have, we don't even know, crawled, hitchhiked, walked, took a train, took a bus, whatever it is. You're now in crazy town and you're running for the frickin' mayor. And I'm like, no, you don't understand. I've known about this since the 80s. They're like, that doesn't make it better. Not making a case for yourself, Mom. There's something wrong. All right, fine. Okay, good. Okay. All right, I get it. All right, I get it. This does sound a little crazy and off board and out of whack and whatever. And more spirits started coming around me, and more energy started coming around me, and the weirdest things started happening. Things were already happening that were weird, but all of a sudden it got weirder. Like I told you guys a few times about the cat that showed up just out of nowhere. I lived on the 3rd floor in this house that was converted to apartments, and I don't know, we were like 6 blocks from the beach in Lima, so it was very, very cold. So I thought maybe she just needs to warm up. She's this beautiful Siamese cat with blue eyes, kind of an older cat, little chubby thing. She was so cute. And I would come home, and she would, at night, after I'd take the kids out to eat a lot, and we'd come home from eating out or whatever, walking, whatever we were doing. And she would act so pissed off, like, where were you? I've been waiting for you. And I'm like, okay, come on in. You could come visit me. That's all right. That's all right, girl. And she started cuddling up with me. And she'd only come on nights that she somehow instinctively knew that Reynaldo wouldn't be there. This is before we broke up. So she would just come and she would lay in my arms, and I noticed the cancerous tumors. And after I held her in my arms every night for many, many, many nights in a row, and for whatever reason I was not allergic to her, which was a miracle in and of itself. And all of a sudden she got better. The tumors were gone. One of my children, I think my oldest, was petting her, and she said, she doesn't have her tumors anymore. She's actually looking more perky and better. I'm like, that's cool. And then she never really came around that much anymore. So she literally, I was her doctor. Because I do Reiki, and I've been doing Reiki, but at that time, I helped build the grid around the earth because the spirits came and told me, and I told my kids, and they're like, Mom, Mayor of Crazy Town, this is not normal shit. I don't want to think about this. This is crazy. How about them Dodgers, you know? In fact, I think that's when I started checking the Dodgers scores, and I started watching the Dodgers on YouTube. Just so my kids would think I'm a little bit more normal or mainstream somehow. I mean, can't go Dodger Blue. I like the Tigers too, though. I can't just pick one. I can't pick one team only. But, I mean, it just went, but it got weirder and weirder, where I'd be standing there waiting for a bus, and a dog would be like across the street, like 4-lane, really busy street, would see me, and he would like perk up and race his ass off, like across, like run his ass off across those 4 lanes, dodging traffic like Frogger, or in this case, Dogger. and then he would just look at me, and then stand in front of me, like not looking at me, like, you know, looking like off to the right, and he would be just sideways, and then he just leaned his whole body up against my legs, and I'm meant to massage him, and when he's done, he would just take off running. Dog I'd never seen before in my life. This started happening with all the dogs. Like, I guess the cat had a big mouth and told all the other stray animals in the neighborhood that she's a healer. You need to go to her when you are in pain, when you need extra love, when you need something to get healed. And then there was this dog that was super, super fat, and his owner would walk him, and that little fat dog would get so sweaty under his fur. It was disgusting to pet him. And he always insisted I pet him. I'm like, oh my God, this is disgusting. This dog stinks. It's so bad. You know, and I told the owner, I'm like, él es muy gordo, no? You know, like your dog is really fat, right? You know, cierto. And he's like, sí, ha, ha. And I'm like, and I start praying over the dog. God, please put this dog in a better way. I could see his hips were starting to go because of the weight, and I prayed, please allow a miracle to occur to this dog so that he will lose the weight and be healthy, because the strain's on his heart. He's going to die soon. I saw all of it, and I was like, well, I prayed. Next time I saw this dog, like 2 weeks later, the owner was walking the dog. He had a cone on his head, and the dog himself was very, very skinny. I'm like, what the hell did I do? It's like thinner, you know, but for dogs. Like, am I the gypsy? Did I curse the dog? I mean, I don't know if you guys ever saw Thinner. It's a hilarious movie. It's not meant to be hilarious. It's one of Stephen King's nightmares turned movie. It's kind of a terrifying movie. But, I mean, I was just like, it's a Thinner for dogs. So I'm like, okay, come on, honey. You know, what's up? And I went to pet him, and he wasn't sweaty anymore. And I could tell he felt better. He had the biggest smile on his face. He jumped up, he started licking me on the face. I was like, oh my God, I have asthma, I don't want this, blah, you know. Virgo too, ugh, you know. But this dog was thanking me. And I asked his owner what happened. He had an accident. He was hit by a car, and he hurt himself really badly, and he had to have surgery. And he had to have the cone on his head for like a couple weeks, and this was the first night he had been out. It was like maybe 2 or 3 weeks since the last time I'd seen him. So I prayed for a miracle, and that was a miracle. He got hit by a car, but it saved his life because all these other things happened. Now he's thinner and happier. And then another thing happened was my neighbor's dog, who was a scary ass pit bull who was always like, you know, angry at everybody. As soon as he saw me, he softened, and he couldn't wait for me to pet him. And the owner was like, he was starting to tell me, don't, he bites. I'm like, he's not gonna bite me. He's gonna be my friend. I'm like, you're my friend, right? And he came up, licked me in the face, and he just let me pet him and hug him. And I knew that he needed enough energy to die. And he kind of looked me in the eyes like he knew it was the end for him. That's why he was cranky, biting everybody. Because he just felt like crap. So I gave him a doggy massage like I do, and made sure that his hips were in place. I don't know. I just do all the stuff that God told me to do. I didn't take training or anything. I just knew how to do all this out of nowhere. So I was like the dog doctor, the dogter. But just loving on this dog, and I knew he wasn't long for the world. But I couldn't tell the owner, because then it'll look like I put a curse on him, and they do believe in brujeria. I mean, magic is real in Peru, so I'm like, all right, forget it. I'm not. And then the next time I saw the guy, he said, thank you for helping with my dog. You're so kind. And then he got like a tear in his eye. I go, are you okay? And he goes, no, he died. And he had just died, like, I think he said like last night or 2 days ago or something like that. And all of a sudden he just like burst into tears, and now I have to take care of the owner too. So I'm hugging this random stranger that I only met like once or twice before, hugging this man in my arms and holding him, and now I'm giving him Reiki. Now I'm healing him. So all this shit started happening, and I'm like, my kids are just like, you're getting weird, Mom. Like weirder than normal. You're always a little off, but this is like, you're so weird right now. So for teenagers to see their mom doing this crap, like I'm going around talking to little dogs who are snarling, angry, and bitey, and I'm trying to heal them. I'm giving them energy every day for like months. Like my kids saw me doing this crap, and they're like, why? Like God's telling me to do it. I have to follow my spirit. This is who I am, But it was when, Reynaldo told me these things that I thought were unfair and untrue, but I looked up and then in the spirit of full disclosure with myself. And that's why I found out about the Ascension, and I'm like, oh my God, that's why all this weird ass stuff's been happening. I'm here to heal bits and pieces of the planet. Chances are, if you're listening to this, you're probably a light worker too. You're here to heal bits and pieces of the planet. And I started talking to a few people about it this week, where they're saying, the past 3 to 4 years it's just been crap. 2 years, 3 years of this shit. I could barely function. I lost my job. I can't work. I can't be around people. My back hurts. My neck hurts. My tinnitus is driving me out of my fucking mind. How the hell are we going to birth ourselves into this new world? Going up in the 5th dimension. This stuff sucks. It's hard. And I try to talk to a few people about it. My ex-boyfriend at this time, now he's my ex, knew a little bit about it. He's like, yeah. And he said that because we broke up, he started looking up some things too. And he discovered it the same day I did about the Ascension. And he's like, I definitely want to be on the Ascension path. He says, mi reina, and then he told me, look, even if we're not in a relationship, I always want you to be my friend forever. And I do love you, right? So he's like, I don't ever want to be like lose touch with you. And of course, too late. He's a narcissist. I blocked him on everything. And he kept trying to get to me through other and I knew he would never stop. So I unblocked him. We became friends again. And now he ignores me mostly. So that's good. So it worked out. But just all this crazy stuff. But one of my friends who I met randomly on the phone, I told you guys the story last week, she wrote me today and she said, the past 2 years have been absolutely unbearable for me. She says, I can't work. I had to move in with my sister. I'm in pain all the time. I'm emotionally unable to handle pretty much any interactions with humans. I'm like, yeah, me too. It's weird. Like when we met, she was okay with interacting with humans, and I was very much okay with interacting with humans. I think I've gotten to be more of an introvert in the past few years. And she said, I just have to manage my energy. And so her words really got me thinking about this stuff, having that balance of everything. And even if you have a balance of everything, you still might be in the way where you're like, oh, hell no, I'm not going to talk to anybody. This quarantine is the best cover we ever could have asked for. No one's going to judge us for staying home all the time now. No one's going to judge us for working on ourselves on every level. The PEPS-I levels, all the PEPs of the individual. Balancing your physical, emotional, psychological, and spiritual sides of your individual. That's what we're doing. That's what this is. Healing every one of those things and paying attention to every one of those things and not getting out of balance or out of whack in any of these levels. That's what we need to do. It's what we've been doing. And I mean, a lot of people, I don't know if you've happened to notice that 2020 has been a really shitty year for like everyone on the planet. I mean, if you get to keep your job, yay, I still get to work and make money, haha, except you're an essential worker putting your life on the line every frickin' day. Yay, I guess. Whereas a lot of other people have lost their businesses, they've lost their jobs, they've lost their ability to make money, they don't know what the hell they're going to do. It's been really real. It's been real. And yet at the same time, time is speeding up and everything is crazy. The dimensions, the veil is thinned. We are literally in the fifth dimension now. The sky is all kinds of crazy colors. I mean, the way that the sky has been even, it's just everything seems absolutely frickin' surreal. Watching the movie Downsizing, the reason why the people in the movie downsized themselves, shrunk themselves to 5 feet or 5 inches tall, very tiny little people. They did it because of the tipping point, trying to save Earth. Man's carbon footprint has literally put us at a tipping point. Now that with the methane gases being outgassed from the Antarctic, we are literally doomed, and I think there might be a way out, but no one can see it right now. Or this might be the extinction of mankind. Maybe on the third dimension only. Maybe that's why we're moving into the fifth. I don't know. All I do know is that all this is real. All this is seemingly crazy, but you're not crazy because it is happening to hundreds of thousands of people around the world. Actually, 1.1 million participated in the last massive group meditation to bring this about faster. You're in the company of 1.1 million people. I mean, granted, it's a minority of the planet, but it's not just you. It's not just you and your bestie and the whole wide world is against you. You have 1.1 million people on your side. It's time to balance your PEPS-I. Get it done, right? So, speaking of beautiful sky stuff, you guys, I'm going to talk to you about space weather. Space weather is becoming much more important in this world, more so than ever before in human history. As above, so below. As below, so above, as they say. So, right now, the solar wind speed is 299.2 kilometers per second. There is a new sunspot. A little sunspot is starting to emerge. It has, according to the magnetic polarity, it is the member of solar cycle 25. So the sunspot's Earth-sized dark core is inset in the magnetic map here, if you want to look at spaceweather.com. And they're saying it is definitely a sign of life from strengthening solar cycle 25. So far this year, there's only been 13 sunspots, and 10 of them are from the new solar cycle. We don't know if it's going to become a source of solar flares yet, because it's not really big enough yet, and it all depends on the magnetic complexity, which will reveal itself in the days ahead as the sunspot turns more towards the Earth. So we're going to keep you guys apprised of that. But technically, they're not counting it yet because it's still emerging. And we are now in, well, it does say sunspot number 11, but then it says spotless days, current stretch 10 days. So we're technically 10 days without a sunspot because this one is still kind of a baby, hasn't quite grown up yet. We can't count it. This is important, okay? There is a CME impact possible this week. On July 19th, a faint, slow-moving coronal mass ejection has left the sun. Now, it's slow-moving. Remember what we said? 299 kilometers per second. That's not very fast in terms of sun. So the solar wind speed is very, very slow. So it's going to take a while. Uh-oh. I just lost the page. What had happened? Where'd you go? Oh my goodness. Okay, I'm waiting for it to load. I was so excited I accidentally touched something. Okay, so on the 24th and 25th of July, they're thinking that this coronal mass ejection will send a plasma cloud kind of coming our way. It's going to graze our magnetic field. Now, when this happened on the 13th of July, it was resulting in high latitude aurora borealis and a surprise visit from Steve. Remember when we said Steve is a wild purple energy coming out of the ground up that looks like an aurora, but it's bright purple and is always accompanied with a green picket fence looking thing in the sky? Well, that might happen again on the 24th or 25th of July, so that will be interesting and worthwhile looking towards the skies. The noctilucent clouds are magnificent. My God, with Comet Neowise, you need immediately to go to spaceweather.com and look at this blue, cobalt blue, glowing turquoise blue picture. All kinds of crazy stuff's happening because the magnetosphere is screwed. It's so beautiful, even while we are apparently dying. Ulu neutron counts are 9.6% of the space age average, so they're in the high range. They've gone up 0.4% in the past 48 hours. And the solar winds flowing from the sun is going to reach us on the 23rd and 24th. So the 24th, we're going to probably feel quite out of it. So today's the 21st. So that's in 3 days. So Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. So basically on Friday, we're going to be really out of it Friday. It means I need to do my show early Friday. Because when all this solar radiation, normal radiation, when all this stuff hits us, I'm going to be just fried probably. I'm going to need a day or two to relax and recover from it. Some more Neowise news from the Comet, if you want to check it out. But right now, I'm going to let you guys know that NASA's all-sky cameras were very, very busy today. In the all-sky fireball network, they reported 32 fireballs exploded over the United States today. 30 of them were sporadic. 2 of them were alpha Capricornids. Or Capricorniids. So, very interesting stuff. The Schumann Resonance for Italy was only at 30, so not too much to report there. And we are still 2 days behind, so we're going to talk about Sunday, what happened on Sunday, as far as the Schumann Resonance is concerned. In California, they were at 168 hertz frequency. Hofuf, Saudi Arabia remains at 0. Lithuania was up to 149 hertz frequency. And Alberta, Canada was at 315. That's huge. Remember, the baseline for the Schumann Resonance is 7.83. And it was that way for like 50 years, and suddenly we're in ascension, we're in the fifth dimension, and Alberta, Canada is at 315 hertz frequency. And Northland, New Zealand's at 134 hertz frequency on Sunday, of course, not now. And last but not least, Hulului, South Africa, was at 102 hertz frequency, and this is the Schumann Resonance scale. I don't know about the rest of you, but boy, oh boy, I've been seeing things all day long astrally. I don't know, are they astral? But things out of the corner of my eye. Looks like a lot of cats and bugs that aren't there. I'll see the energy. It looks like bugs and they're gone. Cats, dogs, bigger, larger life walking around my house, and then it just disappears. It's not spirits. I don't know what it is. Shadow people, maybe. Side dimensionals, extra dimensionals, interdimensionals. Whatever the hell it is, it's been kind of creeping me out all day. So, all right. and here it is for A Course in Miracles, acim.org, Foundation for Inner Peace website. We are on lesson 338, and check this one out. I am affected only by my thoughts. I am affected only by my thoughts. It needs but this to let salvation come to all the world. For in this single thought is everyone released at last from fear. Now has he learned that no one frightens him, and nothing can endanger him. He has no enemies, and he is safe from all external things. His thoughts can frighten him, but since these thoughts belong to him alone, he has the power to change them and exchange each fear thought for a happy thought of love. He crucified himself, yet God has planned that his beloved Son will be redeemed. Your plan is sure, my Father, only yours. All other plans will fail, and I will have thoughts that will frighten me until I learn that you have given me the only thought that leads me to salvation. Mine alone will fail and lead me nowhere, but the thought you gave me promises to lead me home, because it holds your promise to your Son. Of course, when he says your Son, that means all of us. It means you and me, all of us. I am affected only by my thoughts. Lesson 338, again, that's found at acim.org, or you can also download the A Course in Miracles app of your choice. Many of them exist, and they're all appropriate for, in this case, app means appropriate, for your spiritual growth and your journey, especially if you are religious and Christian religious, and Catholic especially, and you want to unravel some of the stuff that wasn't quite the best. Some of it was excellent, some of it not so much. And so, anyway, there we have it. And speaking of religion, I'm going to channel Jesus tonight, Brother Yeshua, coming up right after these messages. So stay tuned. It's that time of year, guys. Finally, OMG. I am up for not only one, but 2 People's Choice Podcast Awards this year. I had no idea. I just found out. Okay, the voting starts today, July 1st, and goes through the 31st of July. And I need you guys to nominate my podcast. This is how you do it. Go to podcastawards.com and you have to sign up in order to nominate me, in order to vote. And you have to go to the very first category at the top, and it's the Adam Curry's People's Choice Podcast Award. And I'm way down on the list because, M, Metaphysical Soul Speak, the podcast. And you just click that. And then when you're done with that section, you go to the religion and spirituality category. And again, cast your vote for Metaphysical Soul Speak, the podcast. And then you have to go way at the bottom part of the page, and say, save my nominations. And that's it. It's that simple. It takes less than 2 minutes, probably 1 minute if you have high-speed internet, of course. It's not that much. You can even do this on your phone. It's super, super simple. I voted for myself on my tablet. OMG. So thank you for your continued support and listenership and voting for this show, because by doing so, you're keeping the show alive and we're getting the word out so that other people can benefit from my expertise. Thank you so much from the bottom of my heart. If you haven't heard about Anchor, it's high time you did. It is the absolute easiest way to make a podcast. First of all, it's absolutely free. Second of all, they have creation tools that allow you to record and edit your podcast right from your phone or your computer. You guys have known that I've been doing this for 8 months using the Anchor.fm app right on my cell phone, and I have done it everywhere, right? I have recorded this in my living room, my bedroom, little cafes in Quito, Ecuador, all over Cuenca. It's so absolutely easy to make your podcast, and editing is just a snap. Anchor also will distribute your podcast for you, and it took me about 2.5 months to become syndicated, and now I'm available on Spotify, Apple Podcast, and many more, and so can you. You can make money from your podcast also, and there's no minimum requirement. You get paid from your very first listener. It is everything that you need to make a podcast all in one place. So please, if you are interested in making a podcast of your very own, do not hesitate to start with Anchor. Download the free Anchor app or go to anchor.fm to get started today. All right, guys, I had one last thought on the PEPS-I idea. Part of keeping your emotional and your psychological self in check is spending the appropriate amount of time with your family and friends that are good for you to spend time with. And also, sometimes we need to take care of those around us. Like, I have my children, for example. I had to be there for both of them today. My oldest and I had a brief conversation, and it was really wonderful. She told me she needed a break. She had to process a few things from her childhood that didn't go too well. We all have things, even my own kids. And so she's like, I'm mad at you about a couple things that happened. a couple things I said that I don't even remember saying. It was so long ago, but things that stuck with her that she needed to forgive me. I'm like, okay, you know what? I'm going to give you your space. I love you and I'm here if you need me. It's been 2 months and a week, something like that. Maybe even more, like 2.5 months, 3 months possibly. She's been talking to her brother, and then today she talked to me. And she knows that went just giving the psychological space, emotional space, sometimes is very healing. She's like, I'm still working on a couple of things, but I'm a lot better. So we're getting there. I'm like, okay, good. And I told you guys, I know she doesn't listen to the show, but I told you guys like last week, I had a dream that she came to live with me for at least a few months, if not like forever. But I think it was just, I'm coming down for 6 months. I'm going to hang out with you guys for 6 months. And we were so excited. We were so happy because our family was whole again. So I know that everyone in the world is working on this stuff, but sometimes you need to give yourself and other people space, and sometimes you need to really be there for them when they need you. And it's really funny is I think that she was trying to call me earlier, and then that little beep you heard towards the end of the introduction was her ex-boyfriend from Peru. Like, that's funny. Like, within, 10 minutes of each other, they're contacting me. And he absolutely loves her. He would marry her tomorrow if she wanted. And she's like, I don't want to be tied down. I'm moving to California, so we have to break up. Bye. At least in that way she had her head on straight. But he's like, I'll marry you tomorrow. Don't worry. He's one of the sweetest people in the world. Little on the sexist side, just because it's how he was raised, but just heart of gold. And he writes me every couple months, every couple weeks actually, asking how I am, when am I going to open up a restaurant so he could be my chef, because he's really good and he wants to live here. He wants to be part of the family so he could swoop in and maybe get that diamond ring for her when she's ready. I just feel like that's like the little hamster wheel turning anyway. But maybe not. I mean, he and I were friends before they met, and he's really young. But anyway, so sometimes you got to be there for people. And that helps you. It heals you. And sometimes you have to be there for yourself. And so the PEPS-I thing, it's not only about you, by the way. It's about other people and you. And it's about all of us together and learning and growing and changing, giving each other space and room to grow and learn and change, but also being there when they need us, but also being there when we need ourselves. So there's that balance thing again. So anyway, I just wanted to bring it up because, I've got people that have depended on me and relied on me since the day they met me, since I set foot in South America. Even, oh my God, my Colombian ex, because I dated someone from Colombia for a few months. We traveled together, we broke up, and a week later I met my Peruvian boyfriend, who was a karmic relationship. My last one. And Alex wasn't a karmic relationship. He was just one of the sweetest people I'd ever met. And we just were like, let's travel together. He saved my life. He saved my children's lives. And we became very close friends. And so we traveled. It was awesome. So in a while, for a little while, he was my boyfriend. And he had to get back to his kids in Colombia. So he left me for his children. So that's a noble cause, because PEPS-I, have that balance. And he did that. Now he's happy. He's got everything he's ever wanted. He got that travel bug out of his system, went back and became the responsible father he was meant to be. It's cool. I see this in my life, this whole PEPS-I balance thing, right? And I just made that up today, but I see in parts and bits and pieces of my life where I didn't have it and what were the results. And now that I'm like, all right, no, got those plates spinning, and they're all spinning at the same rate, and they're all up and nothing's falling. Everything is copacetic, as my stepdad always says. It's copacetic. It's good. Things are good right now. So I wanted to just add that in there, that it's not just about you. It's about you and your relationships with other people and being there for them when they need you. Even if the people are, walk on all fours and they're covered in fur, like the kitty cats and the dogs that I've had to be there for. Today I heard there were some kids outside that I don't know. I had never met them before. And they were out there playing, and one of them started being a little bit loud and started smacking a stick or something on the ground and saying Lobo. And all of a sudden I heard Lobo growling, and I went, oh no, this is not going to end well for that kid. But he was really little. And I'm like, I got to protect this little baby. He was like maybe 4 or 5. Oh my God, so cute. Didn't know he was irritating the dog because he was totally, blissfully unaware. So I'm like, I opened the door. I'm like, Lobo, you okay? And Lobo was laying in the doorway of my doorway because he's there to protect us. And he's also there to keep us cool because my son taught him, and he's super smart as he's Wolf, And he's like, you can't just go biting anyone. You have to love everybody. And my son transmitted the energy to the dog, and the dog hasn't bit anyone or any other dog. Another dog attacked him because he refused to attack first, and that's how he got hurt the other day, a couple weeks ago. And usually he's the one doing the hurt, and he used to come home covered in blood and all smiles. And now he doesn't do that anymore. So I don't know. It's weird. I think the animal kingdom, they're ascending with us. It's kind of freaking me out, some of the things I've seen. But we're not going to get into that. That's not what we're here for right now. I am connected already to Brother Yeshua. Some of you know him as Jesus. Jesus Cristo, if you speak Spanish as your first language. He was my big brother. He is like my big brother. He's like all of our big brother. And back 2,000 years ago, I lived with him in that life when he was Jesus in that life. And I was his cousin, and he called me little sister because we were closer than cousins. We were very much like brother and sister. He was quite a bit older than me, and Grandma Marion was my cousin Miriam at that time, and we would hang out and listen to his lectures. And I remember the day I remembered him, I just about fell off my chair, and I started crying and laughing and crying, and I couldn't believe it. I was just like, oh my God, I was there when he first told us that faith, hope, and love, the greatest of these is love speech. And when he said the word love, he looked directly at me, and I felt my heart open up, and I felt like he somehow pierced my soul and filled me with love in that moment. And it was always one of my favorite speeches, and I never thought anything of it other than, oh, that's kind of a cool philosophy. Yeah, sure. I love the words of this man. And then when I had a conversation with Marian, and she's like, well, you know that we were there with Jesus, right? I'm like, yeah, I remember being there in the time of Jesus. I don't know. She's like, no, we knew him. We were like his relatives. They never write about the women, so we weren't in the Bible. But she might have been. I think I remember reading the name Miriam, but that might have been her mother, because I think she had the same name as her mom, which was, I think there was an Elizabeth was one of our cousins, and then Mary, mother of Jesus, and they were all like cousins or sisters or something. I can't remember now, but I was part of his family, and I've always loved him. I'm not religious. I'm not a Christian. I'm actually a Muslim now. And the only reason I became Muslim is because they said that he was the greatest teacher of all time. Jesus, Yeshua, greatest teacher of all time. When that's in the Quran, it's like, okay. And then all the other miracles in the Quran, I figure, well, hedge all my bets, because it says to take special care and attention and caution in following the laws of Moses. So we have to still uphold the 10 commandments and what have you. But Brother Yeshua has been with me my whole life. When I was a little girl walking, 2.5 miles to school, uphill both ways in the snow. Just kidding. Southern California, no snow. Occasionally lots of rain. Occasionally flash floods. But I had to walk to school a long way in the sun, early in the morning with the mist and the dew, with my little bare legs, because I always wore dresses, because, I was in a religious school. We could wear pants sometimes, but I think it was on Fridays we were allowed to wear pants, and the rest of the time we had to wear dresses. Weird dress code. Bizarre, looking back. Disturbing, actually, looking back. But I had to walk a long, long way, and during those walks, he would walk with me. His arm would be around my shoulders, or sometimes his hand would be on my back. And I would feel his robes rubbing against my leg. As we're walking, I just feel it, gracefully touch my leg with his robe. And I knew he was really there in a different dimension, that I just couldn't see him, but I felt him. And we would have really long conversations, because it was a long freaking walk. It took me an hour or an hour and a half or something to get to school. I like to walk slow and go off the beaten path and explore crap, because I didn't care if I was late or not. And I think I had a watch. I never looked at it. And now I don't even wear a watch. Why? Unless it's jewelry, I don't want it. But that was my early childhood. When I was 7, 8 years old, I was just walking with Jesus every day. And I don't mean that as a metaphor, meaning I was super religious and, I was so good because I was religious. No, I'm not. I don't mean that at all. I did go to Lutheran school at that time, but Jesus walked with me. The real man walked with me. He was the real avatar there with me. So anyway, without further ado, I'm gonna open it up with him. I am a telepathic channel. I do not allow anyone to take over my body. Might be a demon who's lying about who he is. I don't want to have to deal with that. Been there, done that. Don't want to be in that situation again. So I do telepathy. I telepathically channel the person that or being that I'm channeling, and I use muscle testing in case I don't hear a word right, or I want to get clarification. I will stop and go, wait a minute, is that what you said? And if the person is saying something and then I want to throw in my own 2 cents, I'll say, this is me, guys, Elena talking, this is what I'm saying to this. And sometimes the beings will give me a bunch of information at once, like a suitcase I have to unpack, the visuals of, the timeline of, the emotions of, in addition to the words they said. So I have to stop, look through the suitcase, what was in there again, and then unravel it so I could give you guys a clear picture. So that's how it works, at least for me. So here we go. He just told me he's going to do this for 33 minutes. All right, let's see. Okay, Brother Yeshua, go ahead. Begin transmission now. Greetings and hello, my brothers and sisters of Earth. It is I, Brother Yeshua. Some of you, or most of you, know me as Jesus or Jesus. But I am not God's son any more than you are God's son. In the sense that we are all God's sons, we are all God's daughters, but I use the word son. I particularly like the metaphor of it being the light that shines down upon us from the sky, from above. The actual sun, S-U-N. I like the word sun, S-O-N, because it seems to me that when we are in unity with God, that O that is round, it is the zero, it is the whole that makes up all of us, the connection of all of us. I love the name or the word sun, S-O-N. As you go through the lessons in A Course in Miracles, I have noticed the energy of some of your force fields the energy has gone down when the word sun comes up. I hope to restore your faith in the teachings with what I have just told you, why I picked that word and not sons and daughters. I was not trying to be sexist. I was trying to put in hidden meanings in the words that were plain and in your line of sight, or in plain sight, as they say. I hope that those of you who are uncomfortable with the word sun, I hope that you can replace it with a word that is more appropriate to you. I'm hoping that you can love yourself enough to accept the teachings and yet modify it to your own mind enough so that the teachings can be accepted by you on a very deep, visceral level. I honestly meant no harm, so those of you, you know who you are, who take a little offense at the word son, or you feel like it's a little bit of a slight against women, or whatever it is that you have in your mind, please take the message of A Course in Miracles. Follow the message of it, and don't get caught up in semantics of the words or individual words. Having said that, now I can go into the topic that I wished to address today with you, with all of you, this evening. So, okay. Much talk has been given by the masses in a wide variety, multitudes of information, if you will. And I would like for you to come out of this discussion with a loftier view of everything that you hear and see in the media and in your life and in your social media and everything that comes into your force field or your energy field to a microgram. Micromillimeter of your body. All the information that comes to you within a micromillimeter of your body. He says, I wanted to try the metrics. He want to try the metric system for size, and it's not anything he learned when he was here. So, yeah, me too. I'm with you. I grew up learning the royal system. I think they called the royal weights and measures chart or something when I was a kid. They don't call it that now, but anyway. It's for queens, damn it. No. All right, let's get going on this. Many of you are caught up in the distressing nature of the news. Many of you are caught up in the distressing imagery. Many of you cannot move past the abject police brutality. Yes, in heaven we know about this. Yes, in heaven, we are sending you energy all the time, sending you love and sending you light. You do not see what is in the works for your future, but I know. I'm helping plan it. With all the committees in heaven, we are planning our bursts of energy and light that we send you. We're planning the healing energy that we send you. We're sending you love and light 100% of the time. To 100% of each of yourselves in your multidimensionality, your multidimensional selves. Each receive the love and light that we send every moment of every day from the other side. I want you to know that. We've sent wheels of information, packets of light embedded in wheels that are energy centers that are centered. Did you say centered? Above the globe, all over your world. They're wheels that have been turning and churning out the energy of love. If this is a good visual for you, this is why I'm mentioning this. He's like showing me like gears, like they're machinery, but they're invisible because they're in higher dimensions, and they're just constantly churning out the energy of love for us. It's almost like if you did a crank toy where there's like a little bit of a silver handle. It's what he's showing me. So it's like if you crank it and you hear the music. There's a wide variety of very old toys that used to have this. This toy is referring to this kind of an idea. He says, I use old metaphors. He says, not because I am that old, but because I am much older. And he's like referring to the 2,000 years, and he's kind of laughing about it. But he's saying, when I'm going to plant the seeds in your subconscious mind about something, I want it to be very well known by everybody when I give you a metaphor. If I would have mentioned a hot new electronic toy that came out last week, most of you won't know what I'm talking about. This is why I use metaphors like these, the crank toys, where it's like a little bit of a metal thing and you crank that metal bar, you turn it in a circle, and when you do that, the music begins. If you can visualize that there's something like that on the earth, and when you send love to each other, it's almost as if you're turning the wheels from your own volition. And we are turning the wheels from our side as well. And what these wheels are doing is they're pulling out their energy vortex wheels, and they're pulling in all the negative energy, and they're putting out pure positive love energy of absolute light that will de-densify your bodies. It will make you less dense in your body. Yes, you are in the fifth dimension. Some of you are saying, but didn't you do this before? Yes, we did something different before, not as detailed as it is now, but last time I spoke to you guys, it was starting in the works, and I didn't want to talk about it until it was finished. Since for decades, a lot of you have thought to consider the whole world in your prayers and give you love and light. Give your love and light away to strangers and people in your family. This is kind of a new concept, believe it or not. As little as 30 to 35 years ago, people never thought of their fellow man. People sometimes would, individuals would, but as a collective whole, there was not a lot of what would my actions do to cause effective change in the world? With my actions, am I affecting people in a negative way or in a positive way? Most people didn't consider this 35 years ago. It wasn't a thing, as you say. So, how interesting is it now that your consciousness has raised? Many of you are now speaking with extraterrestrials, and you're no longer afraid. You do not call yourself a victim anymore. You're not an abductee, you're a contactee. The extraterrestrials that are here to help you are really here to help you out of sheer love and goodness in their hearts. There have been talkings of the idea of the extraterrestrials not being on the up and up, or maybe their service to self, or maybe they're putting us in a position, getting us where they want us. A lot of you have had your suspicions and doubts over the years. But from my perspective, what I can see is all the extraterrestrials around your globe right now are there for your highest good and your highest benefit. And yes, in turn, this is going to greatly benefit them as well, because as above, so below. As below, so above. I want you to pay attention to your dreams and the signs around you. If you have a dream of a white feather, and you wake up and a white feather is there beside you on your pillow, and maybe later you're walking down the street and you see a white feather in your path, let it be known these are your angels speaking to you, literally saying, hey, I'm your guardian angel and I'm here with you. Be aware that these sorts of signs are going to increase. They were already increasing during our last discussion, but now it's even more. Signs are going to be everywhere, and they're going to be very readily available to your subconscious and conscious mind. There are patterns that have been breaking up all over the world as a direct result of coronavirus, as a direct result of many things, most of which are the quarantine and the mask wearing and all that. Many of you are having emotional setbacks. Many of you are mourning losses that you haven't thought about in years, because now you have the time for your subconscious mind to process them. Many of you have time to sit and think, where normally you were so busy, it didn't even occur to you to just sit and contemplate. Many of you are getting to read in ways that you never did before. I've seen many of you read a whole book in a day in 24 hours time and be blown away when you spent so many years saying things like, I never have time to read. And yet, most of you are learning that even 10 minutes with a book can change your world, your life, your mind, your energy. I've noticed a great deal of energy shifting in all of you. There has been an energy shift in all of you that has unblocked a lot of things that are now coming flooding back. Many of you are asking, is this person in my life? Because I've shifted, and I'm answering you right now. The answer is yes. Most of you have earned the right to call yourselves light workers, spiritual warriors. and the like. Hey, Yokas. We wish to send you love and light, and we are sending it through the silent spaces in this transmission. But we're also transmitting the energy of abject peace, utter force of will that so many of you lack. We're sending that energy to you also. So, did you just say that? Okay, sorry. I heard something that someone else is coming, trying to bleed through. Guys, so it's me, Elena, saying that. I feel that there's an ET here. Brother Yeshua, should we let the ET speak? He says, no, this is my time, but this person will probably come to you again later. Good, okay. Okay, I just asked, good or bad? He's like, yeah, he's good, don't worry. It's not that he doesn't want to share the spotlight, he says, just he wants to get through with the energy that he's giving to us while he speaks, and also he just wants to discuss a few more things. So you want, really? Okay, he says, I want to now address the meridians in your toes, the lines that run on your feet from the inside and outside of your big toe. I swear to God, did you just say secretary toe? He says, yes, secretary toe. Some people call it a secretary toe. Why? What? I guess it was a conversation someone was talking about in the 1940s. There was a kind of a shoe secretaries wore because it's comfortable but stylish, and there was like the big toe sticking out only, where the other feet were covered. And he's been hanging out with people lately who call that secretary toe, and they'd laugh about it. They're like making fun of it. What the hell? I've never even heard of that secretary toe. Have you guys ever heard of that? That's insane. Okay, I look down, is 33 minutes, so there you go. 33 is Christ's number. So, okay. So, yes, getting back to this, there is a meridian that runs on the lines just on the outside of your big toe, all the way down your foot and then up about midway to your leg. And on the inside of your toe, there's a meridian that runs, and it goes on the right side, or depending on what leg, or the left side, the outer edge of the bone. We're going to encourage you to rub the points up and down, whatever feels logical to you, or emotionally, or instinctually. He's saying instinctually right. Just keep running your forefinger and your thumb up and down the main bone in your body. In your leg. And he says, okay, so what is this going to do for us when we massage it? Now, should we do only the right or the left? He says, no, do both legs. You could do them one at once, or you could just do one time, doesn't matter. But he's saying you're going to instinctively feel points along that big bone in your lower leg, your shin bone. And start at the big toe on either side and go all the way up. And when you get past the base of the toe, you're going to notice that your hands fall in between the tendons on the top of your foot, and your thumb will fall on the side of your foot. He said, do your best and find these points, and as you do it, you're going to start releasing a lot of the things that are causing ill health right now. It's going to start to detox your body. It's going to relax your mind and your neck. A lot of you are having neck pain. It's going to give you a calming exercise to do on the days when you are feeling too frazzled, like too much is happening. This is going to help you with your emotions. This is going to help you with water weight. You'll absorb your vitamins faster and a whole bunch of positive things. So we're asking you at this time to trust us and just massage the outer edges of your toes, your big toe, and just keep going all the way up to your knee. And what we're telling you is not going to be found in the medical books, so don't start looking about it. Although you might find something interesting in the Chinese medicine books, but what we're telling you is going to tap into ethereal levels that you don't understand yet. It's going to help you anchor into the fifth dimension more. So we want you to just rub the area to the best of your ability. Just gently massage and do the acupuncture or acupressure points. And many of you are thinking you're going to do this with a rock or crystal. And to you, we say kudos. You figured it out. Yes. It might be smoother with a crystal meant for healing. So you're saying that too. He says, and when you're done doing that, he wants you to slap the inner part of next to your knee, not your knee itself, but about an inch and a half down below your knee, right on the inside of where your leg bends. I'm doing it right now. I'm seeing what this does. He's like, yeah, give it 7 good slaps. Not too hard, don't hurt yourself, but enough to kind of awaken that area. I'm doing it now. I'm seeing what's going on with this. Okay, here we go. He says, feel the tingliness. Yeah, okay, it is. It's feeling tingly. The bottom of my foot, my whole foot is feeling tingly from this. He says, yes. He says, what else? Okay, let me tell you guys what I'm feeling. This is a draining station. So it's kind of like a way to drain your unneeded emotions in your body, and unneeded physical processes. When your body is going through this transitional phase, you're going to have things in your body that happen because things are out of whack. They get out of alignment, and what happens is your digestion might be too sluggish or too fast, or your heart will start to skip beats. Things that seem out of whack, that don't seem particularly healthy, let alone spiritual. So if you give that knee, the inside knee, that good hard, not too hard, but just gentle hard sort of knock, it's going to allow all of your ethereal negative ideas, thoughts, feelings, any spirit attachments that might have tried to attach to your body or your aura somehow. It's going to allow everything to drain from you immediately. And if you want to be really thorough about everything, you can then take your hand after you slap the inside of your knee and you do the thing on your feet that he told us about. He's telling me, you just take your hand and you just rub firmly from your knee all the way down to the inside of your foot. I'm doing that now. Okay. And what does this do? This part? This part is a kind of a cleansing. It's going to help you ground easier and faster. So, yeah, okay, now that I've done that, I feel like my inner legs are lit up like really bright light. He's showing me something weird. I don't know if I can explain this. He's saying if you put your heels together and your feet outward, a little bit outward, you can make the shape of like a chalice, like a wine glass shape with your feet. When you bend your toe backwards, the one he told you about, secretary toe, he's laughing about it. He's like, I don't really mean it when I don't say it from my perspective, but I heard people talking about today, which was funny. That's why he's saying it, because he thinks it's funny. But he says if you do this and you hold your feet in a stiff position with your heels touching and your toes out, and it looks like a cup or a chalice, what does this do? It's going to unblock your blessings, but it will block anyone who's like not a well-wisher. He says it will just kind of block your enemies from getting their energy in. And it's a shape that reminds you of your connection to God. And he's telling me that, like, if you had a glass of wine, your soul, okay, this is very metaphorical. The chalice itself would be the foundation in which God and you are connected. The wine is your physical body, and the scent that wafts up your nose as you smell the wine, that would be like your soul. The three things, like when you do this, it's kind of the energy of like an undrunk wine with all of its potency and power still. So when you put your heels together and put your feet out and make your feet feel very, very stiff, for as long as you can hold it, 7 seconds if you can. And then when you release, oh wow, you guys, I felt all my hips release. I felt all this energy rushing out. He says this is a new form of grounding. Oh, this is nice. Yeah, I'm doing that again. That's awesome. So everything he told me is to raise our consciousness, our vibration. He says it will also stop you from going to places that would cause you harm energetically. And all these exercises are going to affect us more on the ethereal and spiritual realms, like what we've called before, like the astral realms. It's going to impress also upon the blue ether that, the ether all around us. It will impress upon that substance the energy that you wish to be grounded and you wish to be guilt-free and hard emotion-free, like depression and anxiety gone. And these 3 sets of instructions I've just given you, remember, the lines between, on either side of the toes, and the slapping of the knee, and the rubbing of the leg. Actually, it's 4 things. Is it 4 things? He says, yeah, technically it's 4 things, but he also considers slapping the inside of the knee and rubbing the leg all the way down as 1 thing. Okay, and then making the chalice shape with your feet, like the wine glass shape, the top of a wine glass, he's saying. He says you could conversely consider it like a rose as well. You do that, and then you let go. I feel a lot of like 1st, 2nd, and 3rd chakra clearing, guys, when I do this. What do you think? Is that what you mean? Oh, he says yes, it's going to help you in a multitude of levels. He's like basically from the waist down, any tension energetically and spiritually that you're holding, as well as some physical tension, will be released and alleviated with these things I just gave you. These are exercises that those of us in heaven have been working on transmitting to you for a while. So we wanted to let you know that this is the things that we think about, that we're sending you our way, because we love you very deeply. He says we feel a lot of your longing for us and a lot of your sadness and frustration. Some of you have anxiety and anger of the fact that a lot of your loved ones have passed away and you can't see them, be with them, hold their hand, hug them, cook for them, eat their cooking, he's saying. He's like laughing about that. We feel and see your frustration. This is going to help you let your loved ones go that have already gone. The more you think and talk about the people who died, like think about and mourn, like actively sad, you hold them bound to the earth. And if they've already gone to heaven, you pull them back to a lower level of existence. And it can be painful for their souls. So all the things we gave you will also be ways to let go of the people who have come before you and went into already a state of either just, dying or samadhi, some of them. Samadhi is when you enter into complete blissful union with God before you leave your body consciously, and your body is remained perfectly preserved. So I understand what you're meaning by that, Yeshua. Oh, some of you out there wondered about the state of the people who died in your life. Many of them entered samadhi. He got sidetracked there, and then I started to feel like I'm getting overloaded with energy right now, so I'm like kind of trying not to doze off, so hopefully I didn't misspeak right there. But okay, so he's saying all contact between you and your loved ones, the ones that you are so sad and miss so much, and that those sorrows are being healed. The veils between the worlds are being thinner, so you're going to all be able to speak to your people soon, the people who passed before you. A lot of you are still worried about the suffering of those who you loved who died. You think they're still suffering in heaven, or worse, hell. We want you to let go of that thought, because your thoughts have things in powerful energy right now. You can bring about what you think about so much faster right now. Stop thinking negative things about your loved ones. If they were overweight and he's saying if they were like overweight and had like diabetes, for example, and they were having a hard time walking, they're in heaven. They don't have any of that anymore. They're young, they're healthy, they're beautiful. You wouldn't recognize your grandmas and grandpas. They're so young and spry, as they say. They're very healthy. Everyone in heaven is young and healthy and vibrant and alive. And many of you have been thinking of your dead as old and fat and sluggish and having pain in heaven, and that's not how it works. Doing these exercises will help you let go of the emotional attachment that you have that has been holding you back and holding them back. This will not stop your love for them or their love for you. It will not stop your communicating with them, but it will stop the emotional connection that is so painful. It will help to stop all that. So we wanted to give you these tips. We love you so much. You're very special to us. That's why we put those wheels all over the planet to help you. By the way, they take a negative energy and and convert them to positive energy. All the wheels we put around the earth. So that is all for now. We love you very, very much. When I say we, I mean all the spirits are gathered with me, my mother, my wife, Mary Magdalene, all of the Buddhist masters. There have been several, by the way. All the people that you love, all the people that love you, we are all actively here working for you, helping you. We know 2020 has been a hard year. We feel your pain, literally, we feel it up here in heaven, and we are constantly working on transforming your energies that you send to us for healing. But you don't have to send it anywhere. You just have to do the 4 leg exercises we showed you and meditate. Sometimes having a good cry is all you need. You know who you are. You know what you're doing as far as you know what you need. So stop consulting the tarot cards, asking what you need. Stop looking at pendulum or praying to God to show you a sign of what you need. Some of you need a good cry. Some of you need a good, gentle hug. Some of you need to have extra sleep and eat better. Don't consult the tarot cards for these things. You know who you are. You can consult tarot cards when you want, but for the things that you already know and then you're lying or fooling yourself, you're lying to yourself about what you're feeling and going through because it's shadow and you're afraid of the shadow. We're asking you now not to be afraid of your own shadow side. The work that you'll go through is well worth the effort. Go to the other side of that. You're going to be fine. Get through it. Get to the other side of all of the shadow work. All the guilt, anxiety, depression, anger, sadness. We send you love and light. We send you our undying, undivided attention. Okay, now he's asking all the people. He has a lot of people around him. He's asking everyone. And they're saying, no, that's good. We don't really have any more to add. This is a lot for you to take in. A lot of the information is new. Write it down. Listen 2 or 3 times if you must. Maybe you'll get new insights by my words. But we just want you to know that we're always here for you. All right, he's sending more energy through me. Wow. Like all the sadness in my heart just kind of drained out just now. I don't know if you guys are hearing this. I'm hearing a high-pitched buzz. And I'm feeling like there's an energy of gold filling up my aura. Yeah. He says these are the kinds of energies you're going to have from now on. So that's it for now. We are finished transmitting. We went a few minutes over. He's laughing about it because he said what time he would end at 48 minutes and and now it's 55. So all right, that's cool. 7 minutes is good. All right, so he wanted several spaces where I wasn't speaking for a second there because he's transmitting energy to you guys through my voice. All right. He's telling me, give yourselves all very big hugs and say this is from Yeshua. He says, I cannot wait to see you all succeed. It is inevitable, so don't worry. You cannot fail when you are on a mission for God. He's bowing to you. He's saying namaste. That energy of namaste. He didn't say that, but he's like bowing the God in him. He bows to the God in you. And he blesses you. And now he's saying yes forevermore. Go in peace and serve the Lord. End transmission. Okay. Ooh, he really got me at that last line because I forgot that was something we said in church. I haven't heard that in a long time. Go in peace and serve the Lord. I'm still connected with him, so he's like, yeah. He just told me he was with my pastor when I was a little kid. I had the best pastor in the whole world. It didn't matter. He didn't make religion feel like religion. He made it feel fun and vibrant and alive and so much love. So many times I would just bust into tears when I was a little kid just because he had such heartfelt sermons, and he used to always say that. Now go in peace and serve the Lord. So, yeah, I guess he's there. Pastor Dick Christensen was his name. Even his name, Christian, right? So he was what made Christianity look good. He was one of the good guys. It still is. Anyway, wow, that really got me. I don't even know if I'm going to remember this one. I'm going to have to listen to this one later. I was in very deep trance. Very, very deep. Not taken over, but very deep. Wow. Whew. I remember doing the exercises on my legs, so I'm going to remember that part, but the rest of it, I don't even know. Well, I hope it made sense. I hope you guys got a lot out of it. I hope you got a lot of insight and help. I hope you felt the energy of the golden aura he sent us all. I'm loving that one. Anyway, that's it for now. Thank you for your continued faith in my abilities and your confidence in my podcast. I could not do this if it wasn't for you guys. I'm not just shouting in the dark with all my words going into a vacuum. I have you as my listener, and I'm grateful for that. Every day I'm grateful for that. Thank you so much. And thank you for liking, subscribing, sharing, and sharing on social media. Just saying, hey, check it out. I just got this, just listen to this episode. It was good. You might want to listen to it. My friend Peter from California sent me a 1-minute, 7-second video of him watching my show with a woman he is helping with physical therapy and whatnot. And she's like, I love it. I can see auras, and now I'm hearing the book you're reading. It's amazing. We just finished the aura book yesterday. So anyway, there you have it. That's it, guys. I'll be back tomorrow with all unique and original programming. Just like always, don't forget to nominate me in the People's Choice Podcast Awards. And that's it. I'm signing off with peace and joy and the high vibes of the Holy Fifth Dimension. Until next time, guys, peace. Metaphysical Soul Speak is run on sponsors and listener support. This means listeners like you. If you are so inclined to support my efforts and my little podcast, please visit me at anchor.fm/metaphysical and pledge an amount of your choosing today. Thank you.